Good evening. At this time, I'd like to call the Board of County Commission April 7th meeting. It is now 6 o'clock. I will be chairing the meeting. Chairman Fowler is unable to make it back from DC with plane delays. So at this time, would like to turn the meeting over to the administrator for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Please stand.
Please pray with me if you'd like to. Almighty God, we come before you this evening with gratitude for the opportunity to serve. We ask for your guidance as this board considers the matters before them tonight. Grant wisdom in decision-making, patience in discussion, and clarity in purpose. Help us to approach our work with integrity and act in the best interest of all those who we serve. Remind us that our responsibility is not only for today, but for the future we are shaping for our community. Lord, bless this board, our staff, and the residents of St. Lucie County. In your name we pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next on the agenda is the approval. Are there any additions, deletions? If not, I'd like an approval, please.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next is presentations. We have Drop Saver Poster Contest presentation by Jennifer Toombs. Thank you. And I have no idea what Drop Saver presentations are, so I'm sort of excited about this.
Do you have the, sorry. Okay. I'll do it here. Is
You
that
got it,
okay?
Jamal?
Okay. It's my first time, sorry. Perfect. Hello, County Commissioners, County Administrators, and staff. My name is Jenny Tomes. I'm the Environmental Education and Outreach Manager for our Public Utilities Department. In honor of Water Conservation Month, which we are requesting to recognize in St. Lucie County on the consent agenda tonight, I'm thrilled to tie that into our Drop Savers Water Conservation Poster Contest in conjunction with the Florida Section American Water Works Association. This contest is a way to remind students about the importance of saving water and protecting our freshwater resources through a long-term education and awareness program. This is the first time St. Lucie County has hosted this contest, and for our first year, we had a tremendous amount of participation. We received 178 entries from students in grades pre-kindergarten through 12th grade from 9 different St. Lucie County schools. Our judges chose a winner from each grade level that they felt showed the best water conservation messaging and creativity. And many of those winners are with us here tonight, along with their family members and teachers. And just real quickly, just want to thank all of those educators and parents for helping support this contest again. So we will start off with our very first winner. We have pre-K, Alana Cullen from Global Learning. Alana, if you want to come up. I know, it's tough being the first one, I get it. It's tough. You look so pretty though. All right. Next, in kindergarten, we have Skylar Aguero from Ivy League Academy. Good job. Next, we have Shelby Souza, first grade from Ivy League Academy. Is Shelby here? Everybody's wearing their blue. It's beautiful. In second grade, we have Abigail Rowe from Ivy League Academy. Next, Ravenna Yapel from third grade in Ivy League Academy. Next, Mosiah Jones, fourth grade, Ivy League Academy. Next, from fifth grade, from Digital Mosaic Academy, Josiah Beginsma. Marley Allen, sixth grade, Ivy League Academy. Next, Maya Valdez, seventh grade, Ivy League Academy. Cheyenne Conklin, eighth grade, Ivy League Academy. Ninth grade, Chelsea Marie Alvarado, ninth grade, St. Lucie West, Centennial. And I'm going to read hers quickly. I know it's hard to see on there, but hers was written in Spanish. I just want to read quickly the English translation. Small changes, big achievements. Take care of water today and sow hope for future generations. Water, an inexhaustible source of life and a mirror of the soul of our planet, whispers stories of continuity in every drop that flows. Let us honor its purity, not only by turning off the faucet, but by opening our hearts to the responsibility of protecting it. Turn off the faucet, open awareness, preserve water. 10th grade, Tradition Preparatory High School, Leslie Morlock. Sydney Daniel, 11th grade, Lincoln Park Academy. And last but not least, Brandon Salvador, 12th grade, Tradition Prep High School. All right, so that's our winners. And again, thank you, commissioners and administrators for continuing to support the Public Utilities Department and all these fine artists and students that we have here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Real quick here, do you want all the students to come up here that participated in it, just do a group photo? Okay, I just want to make sure all the kids were, okay.
Thank you, kids. Thank you.
That was really cool.
Next, we'll move on to public comment. Anyone wishing to speak, please come to the podium, state your name and address. Good evening.
Good evening. Rick Reed, 2625 South US 1. Do you want me to wait?
Go ahead.
Rick Reed, 2625 South US 1. I was here a few weeks ago regarding an issue, and I have not been advised that anything has changed. And once again, I'm advocating for a group of kids that the Cobra football team between 6 years old and 14 that have asked to utilize our county parks, and they are having to go to Port St. Lucie and use the parks. And when I made an inquiry of staff, 2 days I went to the recreation department. I don't have any kids, I don't have any grandkids. Here I am, these teams meet in the restaurant. I have been profoundly impressed by how they carry themselves, their discipline, and these kids live primarily in Fort Pierce, especially with the price of gas today, why they're having to drive to Port St. Lucie and why the city of Port St. I'm glad they are, God bless them, are allowing them to use the parks down there. I've asked repeatedly, I've spoken to most of you all about it, and I go to the Parks and Recreation. For 2 days, they're not there. Finally, I'm given a number to call the head of the parks. The way that woman spoke to me, that's uncalled for. It's absolutely uncalled for. And then I get a phone call. I call the county administrator, and again, bizarre. These kids, they can't use the park. Y'all haven't gotten, I don't know how true, I don't always believe everything I read, but St. Lucie County wasted $46 million. We can't allow the kids to use a park. And then our chairman, I wish she was here, because the reason why she's not here, she was at the White House with her child at an Easter egg roll. But our kids, the kids, especially kids that have economic issues, their parents do, that's not uncommon in this environment. They're making them pay $4 plus a gallon of gas to drive to Port St. Lucie. This is uncalled for. And I don't appreciate how I was spoken to. All I'm trying to do is help these kids. And y'all may tolerate the hired help talking to you that way, but I'm not accustomed to it. You know, there's plenty of people looking for jobs, including some of y'all's. I wish that chairman was here. I'll bring this back next week because I want her to autograph it for my restaurant. Which baby daddy did she take?
Anyone else for public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Any,
Approval of minutes.
Wait.
oh, sorry.
Proclamations.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have proclamations next.
Resolution number 26-051, a resolution proclaiming the month of April 2026 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in St. Lucie County, Florida. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida has made the following determinations. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month and calls attention to the fact that sexual violence is widespread public health problem and impacts every person in St. Lucie County. Every day, too many women, men, and children across Florida suffer the pain and trauma of sexual assault in all of its forms. These crimes occur far too frequently, go unreported far too often, and leave long-lasting physical and emotional scars. During National Sexual Assault Awareness Month, we commit ourselves to lifting the veil of secrecy and shame surrounding sexual violence, expanding support and understanding for survivors, and strengthening our response. Sexual violence affects individuals of all ages, backgrounds, and circumstances. And as a community, we share the responsibility for protecting each other from sexual assault, supporting survivors when it does occur, and bringing perpetrators to justice. At every level, we must work to provide necessary resources to survivors of every circumstance, without judgment and with dignity, including medical attention, mental health services, relocation and housing assistance, and advocacy during the criminal justice process. St. Lucie County communities can come together to increase awareness about sexual violence, decrease its frequency, hold offenders accountable, support survivors, and heal lives. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida. This board does hereby proclaim April 2026 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in St. Lucie County, Florida. This board further proclaims that now is the time to take action as leaders in our community to create safe environments for all St. Lucie County citizens, including our youth and our educational institutions. We must work together to educate members of our community about sexual violence, prevention, support survivors, and speak out against harmful attitudes and actions. We join advocates and communities across the country in playing an active role to prevent sexual violence and recognize that each day of the year is an opportunity to create change for the future. Passed and duly adopted its 7th day of April 2026.
Motion to approve resolution number 26051.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Absolutely, please.
Thank you, Commissioners and St. Lucie County, for recognizing Sexual Assault Month. My name is Linda Bartz, and tonight I'm representing Inner Truth Project. I want to take a moment to let you know that we provide support to the victims of sexual trauma, assault, abuse, and rape. Some of this support is provided through individual therapy, equine therapy, support groups, and worship. And this is at little to no cost to our victims. We have treated victims from ages 9 to recently 89. That includes women, men, boys, and girls. We do not turn people away if they are a victim of sexual violence. And we do not turn them away if they cannot pay. In St. Lucie County, there was an instance of trafficking not that long ago, and the victims were referred to us by law enforcement. Those victims ranged from 14 to 17. DCF, law enforcement, firefighters, and hospitals have referred to us. Currently, we are supporting 5 counties, and we are the only organization in the state that does what we do. So once again, thank you for recognizing this. It is so important.
Thank you for what you do. Would you like to have a photo, please?
Sure.
Thank you. Moving on.
Resolution number 26-052, a resolution proclaiming the week of April 12th through 18th, 2026 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in St. Lucie County, Florida. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida has made the following determinations. Emergencies can occur at any time that require law enforcement, fire rescue, emergency medical services, and other critical public safety responses. When an emergency occurs, the prompt response of public safety personnel is critical to the protection of life and property. The Public Safety Communications Officers of St. Lucie County and Telecommunicators of St. Lucie County Fire District serve as the first and most critical point of contact between our community and emergency services. answering calls for assistance with professionalism, compassion, and unwavering dedication. These highly trained professionals manage emergency and non-emergency calls, dispatch law enforcement, fire, and emergency medical resources, provide life-saving pre-arrival instructions, and coordinate multi-agency responses to ensure the safety of residents and visitors throughout St. Lucie County. Public safety communications officers and telecommunicators serve with dignity and resilience, working long hours, holidays, and during times of crisis, often under extraordinary stress to ensure help is on the way. National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week was established in 1981 by Association of Public Safety Communications Officials and is observed annually during the second full week of April to recognize the vital contributions of public safety telecommunicators nationwide. The St. Lucie County Board of County Commissioners recognize the essential role of these professionals play in safeguarding our community and expresses its deepest appreciation for their service, dedication, and commitment to excellence. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie County, Florida, does hereby proclaim April 12th through 18th, 2026 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in St. Lucie County, Florida, passed and duly adopted the 7th day of April 2026.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Thank you. You're welcome.
Good evening, Commissioners. For the record, my name is Ron Guerrero. I'm the Public Safety Director. Joining me tonight, we have Assistant Director Sanjay Hawkins and our 911 managers, Yariela Rodriguez, Amber Jefferson, and Katie Hisson. Thank you for this proclamation on behalf of the Public Safety Department. We appreciate the Board's recognition of National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. While our residents often see the lights and hear the sirens of the first responders in the field, the work of our telecommunicators often happens behind a console and out of public view. However, they are truly our first responders. Before a deputy, a firefighter, or a paramedic is dispatched, it is the dispatcher who has already begun the work of saving a life. In St. Lucie County, our 911 professionals are much more than call takers. They're highly trained technicians who maintain absolute composure in the middle of the storm, whether that is literally a hurricane or a complex technical system outage. They manage high-stress environments with a focus on professional accountability and technical precision, providing the critical link between a person in crisis and the help they need. Our division is currently focused on the future, moving toward next-generation 911 capabilities and implementing standardized training programs to ensure we remain a leader in public safety infrastructure. This team is the glue that ensures seamless interoperability between the Sheriff's Office, our fire district, and our municipal police departments. To our dispatchers and call takers, you are the steady voice that guides this community through its most difficult moments. We see the weight of the work you do, we hear your dedication in every call, and we thank you for your unwavering service to the citizens of St. Lucie County. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Would you like that photo? Thank you for everything you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Mom.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. Any discussion? If not, I need a motion
Go
to.
do the minutes.
I'm sorry, what?
Minutes.
Oh, apologize. Next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
part of the consent agenda is a third proclamation for the waters to declare April Water Conservation Month, and just wanted to point that out, the importance of saving water in the county. It's everybody's responsibility, and was going to see if maybe our communications could put out the Drop Savers poster contest winners, maybe their drawings on our social media to give it a little bit more exposure.
Commissioners, for the record, Eric Gill, yes, that was part of the plan. Once the winners were announced, we're planning to share that on social media.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for bringing that up. So do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Mr. Chair, I just wanted,
Yes.
I also want to just point out 2 items, the Orange Avenue culvert repair and the interlocal agreement with the city for the Prima Vista improvements. It's important for residents to know that that's paid by the half-a-cent sales tax, because that's going to be coming up to vote in November.
And there's also going to be a meeting on the Port St. Lucie Prima Vista property if anyone is interested in attending that.
Thursday night.
Thursday night, yes. Any more discussion? Need a motion to
Move
approve?
approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Mr. Chair, if I may, before we move on to public hearings, would the board be willing to entertain us moving up a couple of regular items? Item B1, Planning and Development Services, under 11, regular agenda, if we could hear that one, and then potentially the county attorney item right after, and then we jump into public hearings if the board would entertain that, just to move through the meeting a little more efficiently, if that's okay.
I have no problem.
So we'll do 11B1.
Mr. Chair, I'll go ahead and make a motion. That's just housekeeping. We're dismissing the case. I'll make a motion to approve.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're doing 11A1?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion to approve, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the Board of County Commissioners. Irene Settlemyer, Senior Planner with the Planning and Development Services Department. This agenda item is a request for approval of the final development plan. That is the major site plan for 4540 North Kings Highway. The property is located on Kings Highway, about a quarter mile south of Indrio Road. It is in the towns, villages, and countryside future land use. It's also in the airport overlay zone. It was rezoned to planned unit development in December of 2024. That's when the preliminary development plan was approved. The approved preliminary plan is on the screen now. It was again approved in December of 2024. It provided for 191 dwelling units, which was a density of 5.22 dwelling units an acre. It provided about 47% common open space, had a diversity of dwelling units, 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom units, and dedicated 80 feet of right-of-way along the southern boundary of the property for a future east-west road. The proposed final plan is very consistent with what was approved as a preliminary development plan. They have reduced the density to 4.5 dwelling units an acre. That's about a 14% reduction. They're providing 165 dwellings. Common open space is about the same, 46%. Again, 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom units, and the dedication of right-of-way along the southern boundary for a future east-west road. Not sure if you recall that this is an entirely rental project. It's going to, all these units will be available for rent. The proposed common open space plan is on the screen now. It's fairly consistent with what was approved. The flowway makes up a big part of the open space. This will be dry detention. They have a community park or shared park here. There's a walkway up along the north-south route from the park up to the north, and then it continues down through the south. They have a recreation and amenity center that has a little children's play yard, and the building has a gym. They have a swimming pool. There's another little pocket park over on this side. Some of the changes that have taken place between the preliminary plan and this plan is they have increased the spacing between the buildings so that one of the conditions of approval, or one of the requests from the board, was that the that there be 15 feet between the dwellings. That has been met. Some of the garages are not 15 feet away from each other, but the dwelling units, the living quarters are at least 15 feet, many are more. So some of the open space that was provided as community open space is now more private type open space is available. The other changes, well, we'll look at the dwelling units. The proposed architectural elevations are fairly consistent with what was presented previously, kind of a Florida cottage style. Here's on the left, the 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. On the right, 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath, 2-car garage. You'll recall that all of the off-street parking in this neighborhood will be alley loaded. All the off-street parking is alley loaded. All the dwellings have 2-car garages. I think some 19 dwellings also have driveway parking in addition to the garage parking, and there's some 136 on-street parking spaces. This is the 4-bedroom, 3.5-bath house. So that's the 2-story. This is the 3-unit townhome building. When they came in for preliminary development approval, they had some 8-unit buildings. It was requested that they split that into having buildings that are no more than 4 units. So now we have 3-unit buildings and 2-unit buildings for the townhouses. This compares, the architecture is fairly consistent from what was presented previously. You know, the smaller square windows, the larger windows with the, I forget what they're called, the mullions, showing that shaping, large picture windows in the front, porch roofs over the doorway entrances, a mixture of vertical siding and horizontal siding. So when the preliminary development plan was approved, it provides for 2 access points off of Kings Highway, and one is what we call the main access or the north access and the south access. This illustration was showing what is possible in the future. It's not guaranteed, but this is Indrio Woods, and they preserve the ability for a roadway to connect down this way, and then that would connect to the east-west road. This preliminary final development plan does also provide for the ability of their north-south road that's on the east side of their property to connect to that right-of-way if at some point in the future that makes sense to do. And then their residents would be able to get over to Taylor Dairy Road if they needed to this way. Similarly, if residents in this complex were heading south, they would be able to come over and go through and out, you know, to avoid this corner, which will be, you know, increasingly busy. So one of the changes, of course, this Kings Highway is controlled by the state government from Florida Department of Transportation, and they needed a variance for this driveway because of the distance between the Cabo Rio driveway and this driveway. And that when that approval for the variance was granted, they provided that the south access shall be for emergency access only. And so that's what is coming forward. At some week, staff was concerned about that because of the expansion of Kings Highway is going to become 4 lanes. We anticipate, and FDOT seems to confirm, that probably left turns out of the project will eventually be foreclosed. It seems that left turns, southbound left turns into the project will probably be able to be continued, but we didn't want people to have to travel north up to Indrio, make a U-turn and come back down. But that will have to be revisited at some time in the future. It's some years into the future with regard to FDOT and the management of the widening of that roadway. They have not yet done the typical engagement that they do when they're widening roadways. They have not started to acquire the right-of-way along here yet, so there'll be time to work with FDOT on that issue. So in December of 2024, the Board of County Commissioners approved rezoning to plan unit development and approved the preliminary development plan subject to conditions, including these, that the townhouse building containing 8 two-story units become 2 buildings with 4 units each. The 3 townhouse buildings with 16 units become 6 buildings with 8 units each. Buildings, they were actually 1-bedroom apartments. One bedroom apartment on the second floor, 1-bedroom apartment on the first floor. So it would have been 4 units side by side. Buildings to be separated by 15 feet, wall to wall, and the lease shall prohibit parking on the grass. We have not seen the lease yet. That will come later when they are applying for building permits and/or certificates of occupancy, but they have met all the conditions that the board included in their approval of the preliminary development plan. So staff recommendation is that the Board of County Commissioners adopt the draft resolution approving the final development plan, subject to the conditions identified in the resolution, as such may be amended if they are amended during the public hearing, and including that the lease shall contain an acknowledgement of the location of the apartments in the airport overlay district, that the lease shall prohibit parking on the grass or anywhere outside a designated parking space. Prior to site development plan, we need some written confirmation from FP&L regarding encroachment by sidewalks and stormwater detention within its easement. Prior to site development permit, we need authorization or a permit by FDOT regarding the emergency access to the southern entrance drive. Prior to people living there, for the first certificate of occupancy, we need primary and secondary access drives permitted and completed. Prior to the first CO, we need the right-of-way along the southern property line dedicated. And that concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. The applicant is here this evening, and they have a short presentation as well.
Very good. Would you like to present first?
Yeah.
Within the Kings Highway Job Corridor District and in close proximity to the Treasure Coast Regional Airport. The site is within the urban service boundary and approximately 0.3 miles from a regional transit stop, making it a strong and appropriate location for attainable housing within the county. The property consists of approximately 36.65 acres, which includes an 80-foot right-of-way donation along the southern boundary to support the county's long-term roadway planning efforts. The future land use is TVC with existing PUD zoning. Importantly, the proposed plan reduces the overall residential intensity. While the 191 units were previously approved at the time of rezoning, the current plan proposes 165 units, resulting in a density of 4.8 dwelling units an acre without the right-of-way donation, well below the previously approved plan and the allowable density under the future land use designation. This reduction reflects a more thoughtful and balanced approach to the site design, and the development accounts for roughly 3.2 parking spaces per dwelling unit, giving ample space for both the residents and guests who come to the site. So through the redesign process, building layouts were refined to meet requirement separations, including a minimum of 15 feet between occupied structures. Larger buildings were broken down into smaller groupings, creating a more human-scaled environment centered around the shared spaces. As a result, this shift in layout not only reduced the unit count, but significantly enhanced the overall open space framework of the community. Staff noted in the report that the design will not have any adverse effects on nearby properties, complies with adequate public facilities, confirmation from fire that there is adequate fire protection, the site will be served by adequate school facilities, and there are no negative environmental impacts. And additionally, the third-party traffic reviewer confirmed the site will not cause any level of service failures. The plan now provides approximately 16.87 acres of a contiguous common open space, an increase of over 2 acres from the originally approved PUD. These areas include preserved flowways, dry detention systems, landscape buffers, community greens, and recreation systems. This expanded open space network creates meaningful opportunities for residents, including passive recreation, gathering spaces, and enhanced pedestrian connectivity throughout the site. The community is further supported by a network of sidewalks and connections, including access to the linear pathway along Kings Highway. Overall, the design reflects a clear emphasis on livability, connectivity, and open space, while still delivering attainable housing in an appropriate and well-planned location. So we appreciate staff's continued coordination on the remaining conditions and are actively working through those items. We have no concerns with the conditions related to the airport overlay, lease restrictions, or final agency confirmations prior to site development permitting. In closing, the final site plan is consistent with the approved PUD, reduces density from what was previously entitled, and significantly increases usable green space for future residents. So we respectfully support approval subject to the remaining conditions, and we will take any questions at this time.
Before we bring it back to the board, this item is quasi-judicial. Let's start with Commissioner Claspy.
I've spoken with the applicant team and county staff on this.
Leah from Cutler Hearing talked about the updated site plan redesign and also staff.
And I have spoken with staff and applicant, specifically Leah and Kathleen, obviously about the plan.
Applicant, Leah, and staff.
Mr. Chair. So we've obviously already approved the rezoning on this. This is just the final site plan, and that's something that we don't typically do anymore. So we've changed the rule on that. We're not taking final site plans. This was prior to that taking place. I'm just saying this for those that might be listening. And those that might be listening at home may not have watched the previous meeting, so I just wanted to ask a couple questions to staff really quick. On this, what was the original entitled density that they could have built?
Well, the maximum density that could be considered would be 9 dwelling units an acre. That was the future land use designation before the TVC was adopted.
Right, so they could have built 9 units per acre, and they came down to 4.8, which I think is a big accomplishment. And then what is our minimum parking requirement on neighborhoods such as this?
I think 2 dwelling units per dwelling, 2 spaces per dwelling.
2 spaces per car, and they're offering 3.2 spaces for cars. So I'm just saying that any developer that's out there listening should take note that we want higher standards, not minimum standards. Neighborhoods like this always need more parking, and I greatly appreciate accommodating both the building spacing, which is something that I initially asked for. The building spacing is comparable to our out-of-the-box county RS4 standard, which 7.5 foot setbacks, times 2. So I would appreciate that, and I would also motion for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, thanks for allowing us to put those regular items before you in advance. And now we're back to 10A1, County Attorney's Public Hearing.
Chair, Commissioners, for the record, County Attorney Catherine Barbieri. 10A1 is a resolution that's required with the local option gas tax. We are requesting that you continue to April 21st. We are having to ask you to continue the ordinance, which is 10A2. We are making some tweaks to it and getting the business impact statement on the Board of County Commissioners website. So to make sure that we stay in compliance with the law with the business impact statement, we're requesting that you continue 10A1 and 10A2.
This is a public hearing. If anyone wishing to speak on this cannot make it to the continuance, feel free to come up. If not, this meeting or this hearing is going to be continued to the 21st. Seeing none, come back.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
You do item 2 as well.
Item 2 also,
We
please.
did item 2, so just open public comment.
Okay, back to item 2. If there's anyone wishing to speak on this today that cannot make it to the continuance on April 21st, feel free to come forward. Seeing none,
Move approval.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
When we say approval, we're saying to continue to the 21st, right?
Yes,
Correct.
for the continuance.
Your approval is to continue it to April 21st at 6 PM or soon thereafter.
It's
for
what's
both items.
stated in the
Yep.
language.
Going on to B. Corey, go ahead.
Good evening, Chair Lee, members of the board. Corey Benton, Planning and Zoning Manager, presenting agenda item 10B1, which is the second reading for a land development code text amendment addressing the building coverage allowances for the RS2 zoning district with certain select standards and criteria. This evening's hearing was adequately noticed in the local newspaper, St. Lucie News Tribune, to facilitate this second reading. The petitioner, Robert Dudley, Noble Oaks Estates LLC, is seeking to update Table 7-10 within Chapter 7 of the Land Development Code to provide additional building coverage for single-family homes proposed in the RS2 zoning district when certain criteria are met, including central utilities, including water, wastewater, electricity, a master design stormwater system, and access via a paved private street that's maintained privately to allow for additional home size, offsetting some of those demands that would otherwise need to be accommodated on site when you don't have a master stormwater system or central utilities where yard space is allocated to a septic system. As previously discussed, the Planning and Zoning Commission evaluated this proposal. They unanimously recommended approval. The Board of County Commissioners evaluated it at first reading and routed the second reading to this evening. And what's on screen displays the areas within St. Lucie County, the unincorporated area that are within the RS2 zoning district, with only a subset of these areas currently eligible, having been designed with a master stormwater system with central utilities available and private streets for access. But that's not to say that in the future, new RS2 zoning districts or retrofit of these areas couldn't provide eligibility, but this is a niche text amendment to provide for development opportunities in the RS2 zoning district. Again, minimum lot size criteria for this district is 15,000 square feet, maximum density of 2 dwelling units per acre. It's not altering the density, it's simply altering the building coverage devoted to those single-family homes, of course not to exceed 30%, which is similar to some of our other districts like RS3, RS4, and so forth. Staff's available for any questions, and a representative of the applicant's team is present this evening.
Bring it back to the board. Any questions?
Public comment.
And this is a public item. Anyone wishing to speak, please come to the podium. Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board for discussion.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure it's clarified, again, for public watching, because sometimes it can get really complicated. This change is going to be changing our RS2 district max lot coverage to 30 with a note of O, and that note says, with private streets, central utilities, including water, wastewater, electric, and have a master stormwater system. That's the only change. You get a 10% addition if you don't have a septic tank, basically. So I motion for approval.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to 10B2.
Yes, Vice Chair Lead, members of the commission, items 10B2 and 10B3, they are adjoining items for the Fort Pierce Commerce Center, which proposed both a future land use map amendment to the county's comprehensive plan, as well as a planned non-residential development rezoning and preliminary site plan for property on the east side of Kings Highway between Orange Avenue and Graham Road. The applicant for both items is requesting a continuance to a date certain, May 19th, 2026 at 6 p.m. or soon thereafter for both of these items, which were adequately noticed in newspaper, print, mailed notice to owners of property within 500 feet, and signs posted on the premises for both of these petitions.
Being this is continued, do we still need to go through the quasi-judicial?
Well, this one is not quasi-judicial, the next one is. So this one will just be the public comment option and then the motion for continuance. But the next item, part of this program would be quasi-judicial.
Very good. So this is a public comment. Anyone wishing to speak, feel free to come to the podium. Seeing no movement, come back to the board.
Move approval to the May 19th meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And Vice
Mr. Chair, the companion item 3 would be the quasi-judicial that's with this one. That's also requesting a continuance to May 19th, but this one is quasi-judicial.
So let's go ahead and get the quasi-judicial out. Let's start with you, Commissioner Glassby.
Mr. Chair, I've spoken with county staff, the applicant, and members from the public.
Staff and applicant.
And I have been staff and applicant myself.
Staff, residents on Corey, what's the road behind it?
Copenhagen Road?
Copenhagen's
Yes.
where I saw you. The neighbors there.
This one is a public hearing as well.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Public hearing again. Anyone wishing to speak, feel free to move to the public or the podium. Seeing no movement, we'll bring it back to the board.
Move approval to the May 19th meeting.
Second.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to 10B4.
Vice Chair Leet, this public hearing was adequately noticed, and the applicant's representative, who is here this evening, Brian Nolan of Lucido and Associates, submitted a request to continue this public hearing to the board's April 21st, 2026 meeting at 6 p.m. or soon thereafter.
Very good. This is quasi-judicial. We'll start with you again, Mr. Commissioner Glassby.
I spoke with the applicant, the property representative, and staff.
Applicant and staff, and talked about the preliminary site plan.
Applicant and staff, and talked about the preliminary site plan.
I spoke with Brian Nolan. Staff.
Very good. And this is a public notice. Anyone wishing to speak, feel free to move forward. Seeing no movement.
Move approval to the April 21st meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving right along to 10B5.
All right. Item 10B5 is also a request to continue the public hearing for the future land use map amendment proposal for the Sunnyland 44 project request.
And being a public hearing, anyone wishing to speak on this matter, please come to the podium. Seeing no movement.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries to continue to April 21st. Item B6.
Vice Chair Leet, this is the companion plan unit development for Sunnyland 44 with the additional request to continue the public hearing to April 21st, 6 p.m. soon thereafter.
And again, a public meeting. Anyone wishing to speak on this subject, please move to the podium. Seeing none, bring it back to the board.
Mr.
This
Chair,
one
I'd
is
like to disclose
quasi-judicial.
that my disclosures is the same as the previous item.
Disclosures are the same as well.
And mine is the same also.
Brian Nolan and staff.
I'd like to motion to continue to April 21st at 6 PM or soon thereafter.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to be recusing myself and stepping out for items 7 and 8, and then I'll return.
Very good. Moving on to B7.
Chairman Lee, members of the commission, this proposal for the Indian Groves rezoning and preliminary development plan, which was continued from the board's March 17th meeting, was on the docket this evening, but we received a request for continuance to the board's April 21st meeting at 6 PM soon thereafter.
Very good. This item is quasi-judicial.
Mr. Chair, I have spoken with Troy Holloway, Greg Padibon, David Canfield, Leslie Olson, Bob Rain, Cynthia Angelos, the rest of the project team, county staff, and members from the public.
Leslie Olson, District Planning, George, Dave, Greg from Lennar, staff, Ben and Corey. Talked about site plan, adjusted site plan, infrastructure update.
And I have spoken with staff and applicant, Leslie Ocean, and the team, and talked about the site plan. And this is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please move to the podium. Seeing none, bring it back to the board.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to motion to continue to, it's not on the screen. Oh,
April
to April 21st, 2026, 6 PM or soon thereafter.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to 10B8.
Vice Chair Lee, members of the board, this is the second reading of the proposed Indian Grove Development Agreement, which was duly noticed for this evening. As with the previous item, the applicant has requested a continuance to the board's April 21st meeting at 6 PM soon thereafter of this year.
And again, public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this, please move to the podium. Seeing no movement, this is quasi-judicial again.
Mr. Chair, my disclosures are the same as the previous item.
Disclosures are the same as well.
And mine is the same also. Bring it back to the board.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to motion to continue to April 21st, 2026 at 6 PM or soon thereafter.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Chairman.
Moving right along to commissioner comments. Seeing none, we'll bring it up to upcoming meetings.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. The Board of County Commissioners will hold an informal meeting on Tuesday, April 14, 2026 at 9 a.m. in the Commission Chambers here at the Roger Portis Annex at 2300 Virginia Avenue. And the Board of County Commissioners will also hold a regular meeting on Tuesday, April 21st, 2026 at 6 p.m. here in these Commission Chambers located at 2300 Virginia Avenue. And Eric will close us out with announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Landry. St. Lucie County's Chamber of Commerce is teaming up with the county's Planning and Development Services Department to host a free Before You Sign the Lease workshop on Monday, April 13th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. This free workshop is essential for business owners looking to create a new business or buy, build, lease, or expand their current business. And you can register online at the Chamber's website at stluciechamber.org. Also, don't miss the largest Earth Day celebration on the Treasure Coast. The St. Lucie County's Environmental Resources Department hosts its annual Earth Day Festival on Saturday, April 18th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Oxbow Eco Center, located at 5400 Northeast St. James Drive in Port St. Lucie. This free family-friendly event features food, music, environmental education displays, and community booths. And for more details, they can visit the schedule events on the Oxbow's website at oxboweco.com.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.